Good morning and welcome to Live Without Limits, the Success Chef. Think like your future self. I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and today we're talking about something that I think every single one of us face at some point. That quiet question in the back of our mind. Is it too late for me to start over? Too late to change careers? Too late to follow a dream? Too late to become someone different? And here's what I want to hear right away. It's never too late. You're never stuck. And reinvention is always possible. Not because it sounds motivational, but because it's biological, it's psychological, and it's practical. Your brain can change. Your skills can change. Your life can change. And today I'm going to show you how you can reinvent yourself at any age. Let's start with the lie that we've all been told. Somewhere along the way, society created this timeline. By 20, know who you are. By 30, have it figured out. By 40, stay in your lane. By 50, don't rock the boat. And honestly, that's nonsense. Some of the happiest people I know don't start their real life until their 40s. Because here's the truth, you don't fail at life, you evolve. Reinvention isn't starting over, it's starting wiser. You're not behind, you're experienced. We are always learning about things every day. Learning never ends. You may stop your formal education after high school or after college or even after graduate school, but you never start learning. You never stop changing. Who you are today is not who you are yesterday, and it's not who you will become tomorrow. Because every experience we have, everything we encounter, everyone we meet has an effect on our life, and it changes us. We are not the same from one moment to the next. We need to realize that we are constantly changing from day to day. So let's look at and see some of the ways that we can reinvent ourselves simply by making changes. So think about what you need to do to reinvent yourself. And then think of ways that you can change for the better. So, what are those things? Well, here's 15 real ways to reinvent yourself. Try daily journaling, therapy or coaching, replacing I can't with I'm learning, reading 10 pages a day, practicing gratitude. Now, new thoughts, new decisions, new life. Your mind stays the same no matter, and nothing else sticks. And let's talk about that because, journaling is a way of dealing with something that you've experienced. So this is the 15 ways to reinvent yourself. The first one we talked about was how to reinvent your mindset first, because often we don't think about how important the mindset is. Energy is confidence. Confidence changes how you show up. Start small. Walk 20 minutes daily. Drink more water. Fix sleep. Clean up food. Move your body consistently. And this is how you invent your body and your energy. Because I've seen too many people who are, it's not that they're lazy, it's that they just don't know how to think for themselves of what is something that I can do that can help change who I am today. The next thing to think about is learn one skill that changes your income. And remember, technology is constantly changing how we see things. This is huge. One skill can literally create a new identity. For example, AI tools, copywriting, sales, public speaking, coaching, marketing, tech skills, content creation. Instead of, I want a new life, say, I'm master of valuable skill this year. Skills equal freedom. Reinvent how you show up. This sounds simple. Change your style, haircut, environment, workplace, posture, body language. When you look different, you feel different. And when you feel different, you act different. Tiny external shifts create big internal shifts. Change your environment and the people. Your environment quietly shapes you. If everyone around you complains, you'll shrink. If everyone around you grows, you'll stretch. Try, join a mastermind, attend events, network weekly, follow inspiring people online, limit negative energy. New rooms equals new possibilities. Start before you feel ready. The ones, the secret, most people wait until they feel confident. But confidence comes after action, not before. So launch messy, post imperfectly, apply anyway. Start the project now. Reinvention isn't planned perfectly, it's built while moving. Redefine your identity daily. This is my favorite. Instead of saying, I'm bad at this, say, or I'm stuck, or I've always been this way. Say, I'm becoming the kind of person who shows up, learns fast, takes risks, builds things, grows daily. Your brain follows the story that you tell it. You tell a better story. Now, let me tell you what we all learn differently. And the sad part is in the classroom, they have to talk and teach in a cookie cutter way. So they teach to people who have good listening skills and to people who have good reading skills. But if you're something that actually takes the information and can learn by actually applying it, you're probably going to be behind the times because you're not a real good listener and you don't really pick it up from just reading. Some people can read something and it's as though it gets implanted in their brain, and when they go take a test they can put it back out. But if you're not that way, If you learn by actually explaining it to someone else, by teaching it, then what happens? That's how you learn. And just because your grades don't show what you're truly capable of doesn't mean you're not learning. So, real talk or heart to heart. Here's something I've noticed: reinvention doesn't happen when life is perfect. It happens when you finally say, I deserve better than staying the same. In that moment, that's powerful. You don't need permission. You don't need a certain age. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need the next step, not the whole staircase, just the next step. If always remember that you have the power to control things. Now, what reinvention really means. A lot of people think that reinvention means quitting everything, moving across the country, burning your life down. But that's dramatic Netflix stuff. Real invention is quieter. It's changing your thinking, changing your habits, changing your identity, because your life follows your identity. If you still see yourself as, I'm bad with money, I'm shy, I'm not good enough, you and your behavior stays the same. But when you say, I become confident, I'm learning new skills, I'm building something new, everything shifts. Reinvention starts inside first. So let's look at how you can change what's inside of you. And when you change what's inside of you, you can change everything else. So let's look at it and talk about it. What's inside of you and how to change it. When we change it, we look at ourselves in ways that can truly help us. So here are some things that we need to look at, because that's the real work, changing what's inside yourself, not the new haircut, not the new title, not the new planner, but the stuff that no one sees: your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotional patterns, your identity. And here's the truth. That's where reinvention actually happens. If you change the inside, the outside changes automatically. But changing the outside really fixes the inside. Let's show and slow this down to talk human to human for a minute. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to upgrade the story running your life. So here's how. Your life follows your dominant thoughts. If your brain repeats, I'm not good enough, nothing works for me, I always mess up, your behavior will match that. Now, before I get into that, I'm going to get into something else. That when we talk about transactional analysis, we're talking about the parent, the adult, the child. The child says, I want. The adult says, I am able to. And the parent says, you should. And if you've heard things over and over again so many times, what happens? They become that tape in your head that you hear over and over again. And these are the things that you are repeating to yourself. So until you learn how to change those thoughts, you will never change who you are. So we don't fight reality first. We change the internal dialogue first. Try this daily. Journal for 5 minutes. Write what you're thinking honestly. Challenge it. Is this actually true? Replace it with a better thought. I'm bad at business. I'm learning business skills every day. Thought goes into feeling, goes into action. Heal old environmental weight. A lot of being stuck is laziness. It's unreprocessed emotion. Old stuff like rejection, failure, childhood criticism, past mistakes, shame, fear. We carry these quietly and it shapes every decision. If you don't heal it, you repeat it. Now, before I get any further into that, remember that if someone has and feels bad about themselves, they're jealous if you feel any differently about yourself. And they're going to try and sabotage you by putting you down to make themselves feel better because they feel inferior to you. And by understanding that, that helps you to learn that you do not have to remain where you are. Ways to release it: therapy or coaching, journaling, letters that you never send, forgiveness work, meditation, talking it out, crying seriously. It's regulation, reinvention. Sometimes isn't add more. Sometimes it's let go of what's heavy. Light people move faster. Change your identity. This is the secret sauce. Most people try to change habits, but habits follow identity. If you believe, I'm lazy, I'm shy, I'm bad with money, your brain protects that identity. But instead say, I'm becoming the kind of person who shows up, takes risks, speaks confidently, builds wealth, follows through, th- then act like the person today, not perfectly, just once. Identify changes through evidence. Every small win tells your brain, oh, maybe this is who I am now. Change your daily inputs. What you consume becomes you. If you constantly take in negativity, drama, complaining, mindless scrolling, your mind fills with that. But if you feed it books, podcasts, mentors, growth conversations, skill learning, you literally become different. Try 30-minute learning daily. Unfollow draining accounts. Join growth communities. Listen to uplifting content. Garbage in, garbage out. Growth in, growth out. Simple. Prove it with tiny actions. This is where most people quit. They think, I need to feel different first. No, you act first, then feeling follows. When confidence, speak once. Want discipline? Do one hard thing. Want reinvention? Make one new choice today. Tiny actions rewire your brain faster than motivation ever will. Now, here's some real talk to think about. Here's something gentle but powerful. You don't change your inside by forcing yourself. You change your inside by being honest, forgiving yourself, choosing better thoughts, taking small, brave steps. It's not dramatic, it's daily. And one day you'll wake up and realize You don't react the same. You don't think the same. You don't tolerate the same. And that's when you know you've changed. So you understand where we're at now? The 5-step reinvention framework. Here's the practical part of, and I want you to write it down and think about it, because often these are things that are very, very important. Get honest. Ask yourself, what am I tired of? What feels heavy? What doesn't feel like me anymore? Awareness is the first doorway. You can't change what you pretend to find. Reinvent with your future self. Instead of asking, what should I do? Ask yourself, who do I want to become? Picture yourself 3 years from now. How do you wake up? What work do you do? How do you feel? Clarity creates direction. Learn one new skill. Reinvention always in school includes skill building. Confidence comes from competence. Pick one: speaking, marketing, teach, fitness, communication, AI tools, leadership. One skill can change everything. Just one. Remember that. It's up to you to decide which skill you want to take on and learn. Take tiny daily actions. Big changes feel scary. Tiny ones feel double. Instead of I'm changing careers, say, today I'll send one email. Today I'll watch one lesson. Today I'll reach one new person. Take small actions and they compound fast. Update your identity daily. This is the secret sauce. Start saying, I'm becoming the type of person that I want to be, who shows up, who learns, who tries, who grows. Your brain listens to what you repeat. Identity drives behavior. And let me put it this way. Because I grew up with a disability, and society at that time did not recognize its disability, the community, I was often told that I should sit in a corner and never try to do anything and just wait and collect Social Security. That was not me. That was not who I was. That was not who I could be. I'm someone who constantly has to move, who constantly wants to learn new things. And in doing so, what have I done? I've achieved far more than anything and anyone else with a disability, mainly because I was not someone who was going to sit back. The difference is that in the late 70s, or rather, I can say in the very late 60s into the 70s, society began to change how it saw the disability community. And because it did so, there were many laws that became enacted that helped allow and give people with disabilities the right to an education, the right to employment, the right to independent living. And because I chose not to sit in the corner, not to do what people told me I was capable of, but to prove that I could achieve more, then in a way, have become the role model that I was never really looking for, but I just knew what my personality is. And I lived my life according to my personality. And I did not allow people to put me down and allow myself to stay there. That's why I got into the self help industry and psychology to begin with, way back in the late 70s, and have chosen to continue to do that work to today. So here's some real talk of encouragement. Let me say this from the heart. Reinvention takes courage. You might feel awkward. You might feel behind. You might feel scared. That's normal. Growth feels unfamiliar, but unfamiliar doesn't mean wrong. It means expanding. Every version of you that exists today was once a risk that you took. So trust yourself. If you're listening right now and thinking, this is me, I'm ready for something new, then here's your challenge. Tonight, write down one sentence. The person I'm becoming is, and start acting like that tomorrow. Not someday, tomorrow, because you don't reinvent yourself all at once. You reinvent yourself one decision at a time. And I promise you, it's never too late to become who you are and who you were meant to be. So thanks for being with me today. And if this episode helped you share it with someone who needs a fresh start. And I'll see you next time. And remember to live without limits. Now, one of the last things that I want to talk about that I think can really help you is about different personalities, because our personality is determined by what's our strengths, what's our weakness. And often we need to understand exactly who we are and where we should be in the future. But here's the thing. We I use the disc and I explain things through the D, I, S, and C. The D is the dominant personality. The I is the person who has very strong interpersonal skills. Then there's the S, and that's the steadiness personality. And then you got the C, which is a conscientiousness personality. Now we have all of these within us, but some of them are our strengths, some of them are our weaknesses. This is why we often talk about working with someone else as a team, because when you work as a team, more gets accomplished. Because let's explain this. The dominant personality feels like they can control everything in their path. And in doing so, they can alienate people. Then you've got the person that has the very good interpersonal skills. They make friends easily. They can talk to anyone. Then you've got the steadiness personality, and that person is the peacemaker. And they don't do anything to make waves. If they work for a company, they will read that manual and they will literally follow that manual word for word. And then you've got that conscientiousness behavior pattern, and that's the person who questions everything to make sure they understand everything that's being said before they make a decision. Now, you can see how the child comes out of that conscientiousness behavior pattern because they're just learning. And in learning to do new things, they are beginning to understand and then the steadiness person. Now, and let's explain. We have all of these within us. All of them are part of us. But if you're an extrovert, you're going to have an ID, a high D and I. If you're an introvert, your S or C are going to be more dominant. But understanding where you come from and how you utilize this and how to take them and make them the best will help you to determine exactly where you expect to be in the future and how to best reinvent yourself.